Hey guys, Victor here, coming at you again with another deck profile, and for today's video we're going to be doing an updated Dark World list. Now, compared to last month's profile, we're still going to be rocking the tour guide engine, but we have made some slight changes, mainly just so that we can take advantage of tour guide and just in general be able to increase like the overall power of the deck itself. So, with that out of the way, let's jump right into it. As always, we're going to be starting off with the monster lineup first, and the first card we're going to be talking about is, of course, Genta, Gateman of Dark World. This card is a 3 of, no questions asked every single time, just because it's literally the play starter in the deck, right? You discard it, and then it gives you access to the gates of Dark World, and then from there, the gates will allow you to start drawing and discarding. And as if that wasn't already good enough, right? As just like a general consistency piece, when this card happens to be banished and you control a face-up Dark World card, such as your Gates of Dark World, for example, you're able to bring it back once per turn, so it provides you with a free body that you can exceed, link, bounce back, and reuse its hand effect with, whatever. But point is, you gotta play 3 of it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And to accompany our 3 Gentas, we're playing 3 Snoww, Unlight of Dark World, who, when this card is discarded, just allows you to search your deck for any Dark World card. Really simple stuff, right? And then for the final 3 of Dark World monster, we're playing 3 Reign-beaux Overking of Dark World, who, when this card is discarded, allows us to search our deck for any level 5 or higher Dark World monster except himself. So this is going to be the primary method that we use to be able to search out cards like Grapha and Sillva, just to continue advancing our game state, right? But more importantly than that, its other effect, or I guess like its summoning condition, is if this card is like in the graveyard, you can bounce back any level 7 or lower Dark World monster, and it doesn't like start a chain, right? It just happens. So you can bounce back cards like your Sillva, your Gentas, and then you're able to special summon this card from your graveyard. So it just allows you to recycle resources while also giving you like a free 3k body on the field to, I don't know, do something with. But point is, it's just great at helping you fix your hand and like refill it to be able to continue to combo later on in the turn. Then next, we're going to be playing the 2 O's, being the 2 of Grapha, Dragon Lord of Dark World. Now, its primary effect is to pop cards on the opponent's side of the field, and that's a mandatory effect, but this is like a going first deck, so you're probably not really going to be able to resolve that all that often. But more importantly is the Grapha bounce to be able to recycle our resources similarly to Reign-beaux, but it doesn't have like as harsh of a condition, right? As it just bounces any face-up Dark World monster except itself, and this is a Dark World deck, so we play plenty of Dark World monsters. But yeah, just we're basically just using this to replenish our hand and continue to combo off similarly to Reign-beaux. Next up, we're playing our 2 Sillva, Warlord of Dark World. Now, admittedly, you can play one, especially if you don't want to focus on like the hand loop aspect of the deck, and you can absolutely get away with it, but then you have to be super careful because like if this card ends up in the graveyard, your only way to get it back is through Muckraker, but then at that point you're locked into Fiends and you're just cutting off the potential of the deck entirely. So I'd rather be safe and play the 2, as what it does is when it's discarded, it just brings itself back. Now you may be wondering, why do we play this over something like Gold or Lucent, right? Well, when you pair it with something such as Ceruli, Guru of Dark World, which we are playing at 1, it becomes a little bit more degenerate, as not only does it summon itself, but it forces your opponent to take 2 cards from their hand and put them on the top of the deck, or the bottom of the deck. So essentially, we're just hand looping our opponent before they even get a chance to play, and it's very easy for just games to completely end the moment the first one hits the field, let alone the second one. So yeah, that's it for the Dark World portion. And then for the danger aspect, which we are still going to be playing, not a super heavy danger count, but enough to be able to just help us discard cards more consistently. 2 danger Nessie, 1 danger Bigfoot, 1 danger Tsuchinoko, 1 danger jackalope, and 1 danger Mothman. I didn't want to have like a big danger package for this specific deck just because I hate relying on their luck aspect, but they are definitely still needed just to be able to try and discard cards as consistently as possible, unfortunately, even though it is left up to chance, right? But yeah, I think this is perfectly fine as is. And then as for the final engine that we're going to be playing 3 Tour Guide from the Underworld, as this is basically going to be our premier starter of the deck. And you just normal summon it, and then you get to special summon out a level 3 Fiend from the deck. Now, we're not going to be playing Brow. Instead, we have actual good targets that do something for the deck. And by those, I mean we're going to be playing 2 Buio, the Dawn's Light, which, when it's sent to the graveyard, allows us to search Mutiny in the Sky. And that's like a brand new fusion spell that just allows us to shuffle back Fiends or Zombies in our graveyard back into the deck in order to summon out some type of Fiend or Zombie fusion, right? And there's a couple of them in here, namely Grapha, that we can cheat out pretty easily, and it's made even easier because we happen to play 1 Versago the Destroyer. So these are going to be like the main targets for our tour guide, right? So let me just set these to the side, I guess, and just focus on these 3 really briefly. And the overall like general idea is you're gonna normal summon the tour guide, and then from there you're gonna special summon either the Versago or you're gonna summon the Buio. It's typically gonna be the Buio more often than not, if I'm being honest, just because we're going to try to chain block its effects so it can't be negated, just because we really want the Mutiny in the sky. And then as for what we're going to be summoning, I guess this is a spoiler for the extra deck, but it's going to be the Cherubini, Ebon Angel of the Burning Abyss. And what you're doing, right, is you're going to normal tour guide, special Buio, link them both off into the Cherubini. Cherubini will be chain link 2, Buio will be chain link 1, so they can't ash it. And then you're going to be sending Versago for cost. So even if they like imperm or veil your Cherubini, it still sends, right? And from there, we're going to be able to add our Mutiny in the sky. Let me just showcase that card really quick, being this one. Then we're going to be able to activate that, and then because we have the Versago, we can treat this card as grapha, and then we can just special summon out the grapha fusion for free and give ourselves basically a Omni negate for literally next to nothing. So yeah, this engine, pretty good. I love it in this deck. And I definitely recommend trying it out if you like want to try something different compared to like Ken and Gen, right? Which obviously are super degenerate because it's draw 2, discard 1, they trigger thrust and all that other stuff. But this one just allows us to play a little bit more of an honest game of Yu-Gi-Oh, I guess, while still just like generally increasing the overall power level. But yeah, with that, that's the monster lineup. And now we can finally move on to the spell and trap portion of the list. Now that we're on the spell and trap portion of the list, the first card we're going to be talking about is the Gates of Darkworld, which I will always be playing at 3, no matter how much you guys may tell me 2 is better. It just makes no sense to me. You know, you want to have this card always, you want to use it as often as possible. And yeah, you could play something like Zephyros to bounce it back, but then you're playing Zephyros, and I'd rather not do that. But point is, 3 gates, it's just for consistency. Then to also aid our consistency, I bumped up Dark Corridor to 2, just because we're playing a smaller danger count. That means that we do have to play a couple of other cards that allow us to discard more frequently, but it's not like this is a bad thing, right? Because this one just takes a Dark World card, adds it to our hand, and then we get to discard any cards. So I'd take this over a Danger Monster any day of the week, absolutely. Then for the other draw power, we're playing 2 Allure of Darkness. We play so many Dark Monsters, and even if we have to banish a Dark World monster, it's not the end of the world. But yeah, drawing 2, banishing 1, pretty solid. That's it for the 2-0s, and then for the 1-0s, we're playing the 1 Dark World Accession so that we can try and fusion summon some more. 1 Call by the Grave to potentially stop hand traps. 1 Triple Tactics Thrust, which admittedly isn't really used all that much, just because you're basically only using it when you're giving the opponent ceruli. But with the introduction of decks like K9, they're going to be able to play during your turn more often than not, right? So it's not like it's the worst card in the world. And as for what you're typically going to be adding off of that, more often than not, it's going to be Triple Tactics Talent. So if you're just finishing your opponent off with the hand loop, you just add this and then rip away the last card, because something like Sillva has to take away exactly 2. And since your opponent starts with 5, that means it's not able to take away the last card, right? So it's a no-brainer to be able to just take away the last one with talent, but its other effects are obviously very powerful as well, being able to draw 2 cards or take an opponent's monster if you're going second for whatever reason. Then we're also playing the 1 card destruction for the auto win button. I'm still playing 1 Foolish Burial just because I enjoy being able to send like the big guys like Grapha and Reign-beaux to the graveyard, but with the inclusion of cards like Buio and Versago, for example, we now have additional targets that we can send that are, you know, actual valid targets that allow us to advance our game state somewhat. So we have a lot more targets to be able to choose from with Foolish Burial now. And then lastly, we're playing the 1 Mutiny in the Sky, which you guys saw earlier, to be able to fusion summon out cards pretty much for free. And with that, that's the spell and trap lineup. We're not playing any traps, and now we can finally move on to the extra deck. We're going to be kicking off the extra deck with the Link Monster section, and the first card is going to be something that you've seen already, being the Cherubini Ebon Angel of the Burning Abyss. This is literally just the card that we make off of Tour Guide to be able to send the Versago for cost, and yeah, you know, that's literally it, but it's more than enough to get the job done, because like I said earlier, if this card hits the field, you're able to chain block your Buio to ensure that it's actually able to resolve, and then you get the Grapha Fusion guaranteed every single time, so yeah, pretty good card. Then as for the other Link monsters, we're playing the 1 Akashic Magician to bounce back cards like our Sillva and our ceruli, just to be able to reuse them. But there are other cards that sometimes you want to bounce back. But point is, that's basically what this is for. We're playing 1 Muckraker from the underworld to be able to bring back our fiends. You just have to be a little bit careful because it does lock you into fiends for the rest of this turn. So the potential does get limited for the deck if you have to go into the Muckraker. So just be aware. As for the other links, we're playing the 1 IP Masquerena, a common end board piece that allows us to typically go into cards like SP Little Knight, or we also have additional options such as Knightmare Cerberus, and Knightmare Unicorn. Cerberus is actually pretty important though, just because it is like another way that we can just reliably get rid of cards like ceruli, and it's very easy to co-link it as well, so that means that we get an additional draw. And then Unicorn is just a great generic piece of removal for, you know, decks. Then for the Link Force, because that's the only Link 3 we're playing one Abawaku, the Lightless Shadow. This is a Fiend deck, and it's incredibly easy to it's incredibly easy to summon out, and its effects are pretty powerful, right? Either you get to reborn like a dark or light monster, or you get to pop a card on the field, and all you have to do is discard a card. Now, it does discard for cost, so you won't be able to trigger your Dark World monsters, but if you have like a danger monster or just like a card you don't want in your hand, like the Versago, for example, that just provides you with great fuel to be able to discard and just be like a general nuisance to your opponent. And then we are also going to be playing the 1-star Usual Skull Dread, because it's very easy to just flood the field with monsters, and this one just allows us to draw more cards as well as fix our hand by putting the bad cards to the bottom of the deck. That's it for the links. And then for the Exceeds, we're playing one number 62 Garrus the Timeless. It just takes 2 level 4s, you know, not that big of a deal. And we don't really care about the reborn effect or the boost effect. What we do care about is drawing 2, discarding 1, because as you may have noticed by this point, this deck just loves drawing and discarding, so it's a no-brainer. And then for the final Exceed monster, we're playing one Superstar Slayer Typhon Sky Crisis, because you just can't break every board, unfortunately. So sometimes you just have to make this, and let's be real, it's usually not enough, but you gotta have hope sometimes, right? Then that's it for the Exceeds. And the Fusions, we're playing one the Duke of Demise. So this is actually like a really cool fusion that we have access to, where it just takes either 2 Fiends or 2 zombie monsters, and both of its effects are actually really solid, right? So first off, it gives us an additional normal summon, which right off the bat, great. And then as for its graveyard effect, you can just like banish it to add any level 4 lower Fiend or zombie monster from your graveyard and add it back to your hand. So, you know, an additional normal summon that also gives us a free resource back. Pretty solid stuff. Next up, we're playing one Aerial Eater. Admittedly, this is the weakest card in the extra deck, and if you're going to cut anything, you should probably start here. But this is basically just like another Foolish Burial, right? But sometimes it comes up, but it's definitely the least impactful card in the entire extra. We're playing one Grapha, Dragon Overlord, or Dark World, which is extremely important for the Tour Guide combo to actually function, because this is pretty much going to be like your go-to card every single time. And just having that extra little bit of protection that you normally wouldn't have until late into your combo as part of like your early combo it's literally game changing. And then finally, we're playing one Chlorless Chaos King of Dark World. We are playing the Versago, which means that we can just use that as the original Reign-beaux, right? And be able to just blow up our opponent's board. So yeah, it's fine, but it's definitely like a win more card. At least that's how it feels in most situations. But yeah, it's fine. And with that, that's the Dark World profile. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time. See ya.